camera a little bit. Okay, now time for me to delete the old one from existence on the internet and share around the new link. So sorry about that. Already things are off to quite the start here on the holiday live stream. I did not mean for that to happen. I guess it's been over a year since the last time I did a live stream on my channel. And I guess YouTube changed the way that you do live streams on the app. So, view on YouTube. Delete for forever. All right, we're back in business. I'm sorry about that. Just let me send around this link to a couple of places, and this way we can get the party actually going again, because that was pitiful. And I'm sure a lot of you guys think that I'm some sort of YouTube pro, between the amount of videos and the decently sized audience that I have for a lot of my videos. But the truth is that I Google a lot of what I do to actually know and figure out what I'm doing. Google is my best friend. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not as smart as I actually appear. A lot of the train facts that I say in the videos, that's actually also just useless knowledge that I have inside of my head. But other than that, Google is my best friend. Perfect. You got the notification for number 2 instantly. All right, so Matthews O-Scale Train, Whitmore, UP, 3982 Trainmaster Challenger, Old Ohio Angler, Stephen Nipa, Mountain Scout, Rails, Del Hudson. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. And, you know, I said the live stream was started at 8. I did sit around the long link. So we'll give it a couple minutes for people to join. Seems like we've got a good handful of people tuning in right now. We're up to 25, which is really nice. It's about the same as most of my premieres. But I seem to do this once a year around this time. I'd like to do more live streams, especially going into the new year. But, you know, the holidays are always a great time to, you know, kick back and relax. Got an easy night tonight, and I figured, you know, no better way to celebrate the holidays than hanging out with you guys, answering some questions. I've got a couple of fan favorite locomotives on the layout, and maybe if there's an overwhelmingly, you know, high demand for a certain locomotive in my collection to make an appearance tonight, you know, we'll bust that out and run it around the layout. You know, I've also done a few layout updates, you know, a few projects. So, you know, maybe we'll take a look, you know, sneak preview at those before the true layout update video. But yeah, hopefully exciting stuff tonight. Radar, happy Wednesday, Steve. That's all I know is self-deprecating humor. If you can't laugh at yourself, then what are you doing? And I love laughing at myself. Mountain Scott Rail. Any B&O trains tonight? No. I only have the one B&O locomotive, the MTH Premier Mikado. And I love it. It's really cool, but Mikados in general are kind of boring. And I feel like I run that a lot on my channel. So I don't have that one out tonight. Right now in the layout, just off to, well, I guess I can move this one over. And this way it should be in view. Oh, a little bit more. I'm on like a 10-second delay. So like I can't see what I'm doing in real time because the camera that I'm filming this with is faced the opposite way, so you can see my face in all of its high definition glory. So we've got the Lion Chief 2.0 Brooklyn East District Terminal 060T. Really fun locomotive. I don't run it enough because I feel like on my layout there's not really a need for switchers. And the awesome Lionel Legacy Camelback. Probably one of my top 3 favorite locomotives in the collection. And I guess I gotta do like a top 10 favorite locomotives in my collection. So it's certainly been a while. Yes, Radar. Don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. I know everybody says it in their videos, and it does genuinely help us, you know, have our videos get more views. So we're not just saying it so we can, you know, say who gets the most likes. You know, the point of making videos is to share our hobby and our love of trains. And by hitting the like button, it actually allows more people who may not be interested in trains to see these videos. Which, you know, one of my favorite comments that I get on videos is like, you know, I'm not really into trains, but this is awesome. Like, keep up the great work. Just subscribed. Hello, Devon McKenzie. Nice to see you here. Matt, 12 days of RJ's trains will probably never come back. So it's a spoof on Eric's Trains is 8 days of Christmas, where he does a video every day from Christmas Day to New Year's. And so I used to do that a couple of years ago, is I would do a video every day for the 12 days leading up to Christmas Day. And it's a lot of work, and my video production quality, although not the greatest, has certainly increased over the last couple of years. And so the amount of effort that would go into recording those 12 videos I'd probably just have to start filming them in September or October. And I feel like it's better for the audience and it's better for you guys if I were to release, you know, that one high quality video every week or every 2 weeks, as opposed to just drowning you guys with 12 straight videos and 12 straight days, you know, that run 15 to 20 minutes long. It's a lot. Not everybody has the time, and I don't have the time. So as fun as the 12 days of RJ's Trains was, I think those days are over. I just got back from taking trains around Germany, Austria, France, and I am beat. Steve, I actually did the same thing twice this year. So this summer, I spent about a week and a half with my family in Italy, and then I embarked on my own adventure where I took a series of trains from Rome all the way to London. And then back in September, I actually went back to Germany, and I was in Berlin and Munich, you know, for a rail conference. And then you know, you're in Germany in September, early October, and you're in Munich, you know, so had to stop at Oktoberfest. But yeah, definitely tiring. Do you know what happened to Sid's Trains? He hasn't made any videos lately. That's from Highball. Uh, so Sid's a good friend of mine. You know, he's still in college, so you know he's, you know, very busy as a student. He also has his repair business. So between, you know, schoolwork and his train work, you know, making videos doesn't necessarily fit into his time frame, and you can't blame him. You know, I certainly know what that's like as well. So I know Sid really wants to make videos. He's been talking about, you know, a video that he's going to make on his winter break from school. So hopefully that comes out and should be very nice. All right, let's say hello for some new people. Herman, Craig, happy to see MTH release the Christmas LED boxcar passenger lights. Yeah, these are really cool. I love the passenger cars. The problem is, like, money doesn't grow on trees. So, you know, there's that one tiny problem. But yeah, other than that, you know, I wish I could have every single model I could ever want. Thank you, Tony. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. What's your favorite PRR loco in model railroading? So I'm not a big fan of the Pennsylvania Railroad. I think too many people enjoy it, and then it makes it less cool, because I'm an antagonist like that. So I would say my favorite Pennsylvania Railroad locomotive is the GG1. Now, I do own several Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives that were operated by the Long Island Railroad. And if you're just asking me my favorite style of Pennsylvania Railroad locomotive, I would say the G5. Dell, I am not singing like Muffin. I gotta give him a lot of credit for posting that video on the internet. But I already sang once in a recent YouTube video, and I think those 5 seconds was more singing than the world ever wants to hear of me singing. Why not the 12 days of shorts? Um, I'm just not a big fan of shorts. They don't, on YouTube I may get 1,000 views on the shorts, as opposed to a full blown video, which will get me anywhere between 5 and 15,000. They don't do a lot in terms of growth. I do really like Instagram shorts or Instagram reels, just because they allow me to be a little bit more artistic with the music I use. So I post a lot of reels on there, and I'm slowly starting to post those reels also on YouTube, but there's copyright things between Instagram reels and YouTube shorts that is annoying. Also, I think the YouTube shorts messes up the algorithm for my like actual videos. So, like, it's probably not the case, but I would rather, if YouTube's going to promote my videos to people, that they're my actual videos and not just like some 20 to 30-second clip of my trains running around. Yeah, Steve, the time difference is brutal. I don't blame you. G5s. All right, now I'm getting teased for being a G5. Well, if you guys like the Pennsylvania Railroad G5, I would say stay tuned for my next video. Actually, if you paid attention to the thumbnail of this video, it gives away my next video, but I would say I tracked down my Moby Dick of white whales. And that's all I will say about that for now. Yeah, I look forward to my RFMP 19 F19 as well. According to the Lionel website, they got to North Carolina on Monday. So I order most of my new trains from Train World, and they're usually one of the first ones to get their products from Lionel. So who knows? Maybe they'll get it tomorrow or Friday, and I'll be able to pick it up, Monday or Tuesday of next week. I think that's wishful thinking. Probably it'll have to wait until after Christmas. Now they're supposed to have a blue boiler. Say that 5 times fast. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that actually turns out. Either way, I'm still very, very excited for it. As you guys know, I have a weird love with the RFMP Railroad. So is Pennsylvania Railroad my least favorite? No, it's not my least favorite. I do enjoy the Pennsylvania Railroad. And I've ridden the old main line a ton between New York and DC. I just think that there are a lot of people who like the Pennsylvania Railroad who, love it an annoyingly amount, the same way I do with the Long Island Railroad and the RFMP. So it's all just humor at the end. If I'm talking about railroads that like I don't want to spend any of my hard-earned money on, a lot of the West Coast railroads, just because like personally I've actually never been west of Chicago. So like I've seen a handful of Union Pacific freight trains in my life. Like, I have no desire to ever own a big boy or a Challenger or something along those lines. UP 3982, God bless. I think it's going to be not that much warmer on Long Island this weekend. So, just in time for Christmas. Hello, Tweetsy Railroad. Yeah, and Menards and Postwar is great. I actually have a trunk full of Menards products underneath the layout, and I break them out and run them every once in a while. And Postwar is just awesome. I think there's really been a renaissance this holiday season in Postwar, as there usually is every holiday season, because it's so iconic, the Postwar trains and the holiday season. I have a small Postwar collection, but right now my layout's set up for all command control, so I can't actually operate any post-war engines right now. I'm going to fix that soon, but I'd love one day in the future to have like a small post-war layout to run all of my post-war trains on a post-war setting. Yeah, that would be awesome. Have you been to Intertrainment Junction in Ohio? No, I actually haven't. I haven't been there. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to see it before they close, but it seems like they had one heck of a setup, and it was a great way to usher people into the hobby. It's a shame that they couldn't find a seller when they were looking to retire, but it's only more important YouTube channels like my own and the dozens of others out there, because now, YouTube is slowly becoming the only way for lots of people to be able to see and take in the majesty that is O-gauge model trains and model trains in general. The RFMP H7 is a beast. Went with the F19 due to limited funds. Yeah, I don't blame you at all, Craig. The F19s were actually really nicely priced for the amount of detail that you get. Um, maybe now if it came out today, I probably wouldn't have ordered an RFP H7, just because I have less of an attachment to the RFP, no longer living in Washington D.C. But I'm still really glad I bought that. It is a awesome locomotive, and it will probably be the only articulated steam locomotive I ever own. Norfolk and Western 611, that's a great choice. When it was at Strasbourg, I got to ride behind it, and even paid like the $5 to go in the cabin below the whistle. That was a fun experience. Tweetsy Railroad, do you like Norfolk Southern? Um, I like Norfolk Southern. Do I like Norfolk Southern on the levels of JD Stux? No. I have an MTH Premier Norfolk Southern ST70As and a non-powered Penn Central Heritage unit, which is cool. But like, I don't really feel the need to own anything else. Norfolk Southern in my collection in the foreseeable future, other than a few more coal rotary hoppers one day. Um, how do you like the Christmas car, DT Shortline? How do you like the Christmas cars behind you, and what brand are they? So these are MTH Rail King cars. They came out, I want to say 2019. They're nice. The only thing is that the wires are really flimsy. So like, there's one car where like one of the strands of lights don't work unless you hit it, and I don't know. But they're really nice. I really enjoy them. They're fun to break out around Christmas time, and they look good with all the lights out, and you just see the Christmas lights passing through. Do you own any RMT products? Yes, I actually own a flat car from RMT, like when they were making trains pre-COVID, because like they kind of like went out of business for like 3 years and 3 or 4 years, and then got back into the train business. So I own a flat car from them, and then I bought one of the tank cars that they did in like their first round of new products, and it's a nice car, but the coupler snapped on it, and like there's no way for me to be able to run the car unless I replace the entire truck and coupler assembly. So I am just kicking that can down the road of zombieing another freight car so I can operate that tank car. And I have one of the wood-sided reefers on pre-order, and I think those should be arriving this week at hobby stores, according to their owner on the OGR forum. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. A lot of people are saying really good things about those wood-sided reefers. I've got wood-sided reefers from MTH and Atlas, and I love them. So I'm excited to see how RMT stacks up against the competition, especially for the price. 30-40 bucks a car. You can't beat it. Especially MTH is now at like $80 or $90 a freight car. Lionel, forget about it. So I'm excited to see what RMT can offer. You're brave for doing O gauge. I do HO stuff, and it is expensive. Don't ever want to imagine what you're putting out. I mean, if you go to Train World's website and you look up some of the stuff, you can get a pretty good idea of what I'm spending. If my parents are watching a replay of this live stream, don't do that. All the prices that I tell you are the prices I'm actually paying. Anyways, yeah, my parents bought me my first O-gauge set. Well, Santa brought me my first O-gauge train set for Christmas when I was in kindergarten. And it was basically the person at the hobby store said, get your son O-Gauge because it's easier for kids to handle. And then, every year for my birthday or Christmas or whatever, I'd end up with another Lionel ready to run set. And it just got to a point where I was so invested in O-Gauge that it didn't make sense to sell it all to switch to HO, but I kind of wish I was an HO. But even with O-Gauge, I deal with, I have struggles with how small some of the stuff is. Are you a fantasy train guy? I'm not. I'm trying to think. I currently own 0 fantasy scale locomotives. Like, high-end Lionel, high-end MTH, high-end Atlas. I do have one on pre-order, and it should be arriving soon. It's the aforementioned RF&P F19. The RF&P never had F19s. They had something extremely similar. The only difference was the driver wheels are an inch or two smaller than an F19. So that's technically it'll be my first fantasy locomotive, but it's the least fantasy locomotive you could get to call a fantasy locomotive. Looking ahead towards the next Lionel catalog, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you'd be interested in seeing, but I would love a Lion Chief 2.0 or a scale girls train set with just something with command control, or I'd love to see a full scale Lionel Legacy Santa Fe passenger set, but with all the Postwar numbers, 2243 I believe the number was on the F3s. That would be really cool, and that would be really tempting for me to order. Matthew, if anybody were to ever make a mass-produced Penn Central T1, I would order one. What was my favorite rail trip? I've done quite a few. I would say the one this summer was, can't really top that. Taking a train between Rome and London. One night I shared a room with 5 strangers. 2 teenage girls from Austria, a guy from Egypt, an Italian guy, and a guy from Germany. That was a experience. Interesting. Definitely wasn't my best nights of sleep. Taking the Eurostar underneath the English Channel between Paris and London. In America, probably my favorite one was the Cardinal, although I do have some plans to potentially ride one of Amtrak's West Coast routes in February, but still need to figure out the details. Yes, William, let's go Mets. What do you use to run your layout? So I use Lionel's Legacy system and MTH's DCS system. All of it runs through my MTH TIU. I haven't upgraded to WTIU because even though I am a 24-year-old male, inside I'm actually an 80-year-old, and I don't like using my phone to control the trains. Partly because I use my phone to film the videos like I am right now. So, if I had an MTH WTIU and I had 2 MTH engines sitting on the layout, I wouldn't be able to run them. So that's my problem with the WTIU. Anyways, that's not what you asked. And then powering the layout, I have 2 Lionel 180 watt power bricks. It's never the wrong season to say let's go Mets. How's it going, Matt Strains and Christopher Peter? All right, so has anyone been to that? I went to the New York Botanical Garden train show once or twice when I was a young kid. I don't remember it. Nothing like an afternoon in the Bronx to go look at some trains in a garden. All right, I'm going to let some more comments filter through the chat. I think in the meantime, we'll, get these trains running here. And I also need to get myself a bottle of water because I forgot to grab that beforehand. And I've been talking for almost 20 minutes straight, which is, yeah, Bob. Train budget might go down after Steve Cohen gave that $760 million contract. I'm going to be paying $50 for those nice steak sandwiches at Citi Field. Which is better, Conrail or Penn Central? Penn Central by a mile. All right, you guys are going to make fun of me, but yes, that is the Lion Chief 2.0 tank engine. And currently, excuse the pile of garbage, it's stuck in the tunnel right there. So we got a rescue mission. So, Bobby, fun fact about that caboose. It's a custom run done by the Nassau Lionel Operating Engineers Club. And I actually helped design that. So, I have a small role in that caboose's existence. I think the problem with mine is that I was running it too slow. this is why you test stuff before the live stream. Jesus' manger was just a little too tall for my tunnel. That's on me. Forgot to set the switch. All right, we're back in business. Definitely did not almost have another crash. See, this is what I meant about the lights sometimes going out. All right, we've got the trains quiet down. Come back to the live chat. RJ, what is the best advice for a person going to a city from the country for a visit? Have fun. Just always watch your six. William, yes, that is a Lion Chief 2.0 engine. It's for the Brooklyn East District Terminal. Fantastic engine. I love it. Don't run it out. Yeah, it's especially like terrible when there's a derailment or something's wrong or I need to do layout work in the back of the layout. I don't have an access panel. I did that on purpose because access panels take up a lot of real estate and they make scenery messy. And I figured, well, I'm 24 years old. You know, I can climb up on the table and I'll be fine. As I'm doing layout work on top of the table, I'm slowly learning that the next layout, I will not have the ability to be able to climb on top of it to do layout work. So, lesson learned. Dead rails trains, what am I going to use for the water feature? So I'm going to talk more about this in my layout update video, which I hope to have out by the end of the year, if not early January. But I've decided to go against the water feature just because there isn't a great way to do it economically, and this is not a permanent layout. In fact, this layout will probably only be around for another year or two, so it's a mix of doing it so it looks really nice and also doing it so um, it's done economically. Yeah, William, it's a great polar. I don't know if you saw, but Jesus' manger got caught on the top of my tunnel because I have really short funnels on the lower loop, which I did on purpose, but I should have just tested the train. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I can't do live streams at 3 p.m. because I have work. But thanks for tuning in while you did. Are you interested in Vision Line? Yes, Hudson. If yes, short or long tender version. I'm interested in a Vision Line Hudson. If I had unlimited money, I would buy a Vision Line Hudson. But I don't have unlimited money, and I need to prioritize, what I'm spending money on. I mean, the trains are great. I have a lot of fun with them, but I also don't want to be living in my parents' house for the rest of my life. And I have other expenses in life other than model trains. So I have a K-Line Hudson that's probably close to 20 years old at this point. That's been upgraded a little bit. Anyways, so I'm not gonna order. I didn't order a Vision Line Hudson. I do have a Vision Line GG1 on pre-order. But if I were to order a Vision Line Hudson, it would be one with the short tender. I'm a short tender guy. I do not like the PT tenders. I don't think they look good. Yeah, Scott, things only happen when people are watching. It's actually unbelievable. Although I will say that there are definitely quite a few crashes while I'm just filming by myself in the basement. The Camelback just stopped for no reason. Definitely nothing to worry about there. Hello, Plant City Rail fan. Which is better, New York Central or Denver, Rio Grande Western? The New York Central by a long shot. Yes. So Brooklyn East District Terminal 15 is the one that got converted to Thomas. So it's technically a Strasburg locomotive. Although a lot of my grandparents grew up in Brooklyn, so it's nice to have some Brooklyn representation on the layout. It's such an awesome looking switcher. Jesus needs his own test clearance car ahead of him. Thanks for tuning in, Dead Rail Trains. Yeah, I know we're getting started pretty late tonight, but I don't get the opportunity to be able to just chat with you guys and answer questions all that often unless it's in the comments of the videos. So, it's nice being able to do this and talk through stuff with you guys. Old Ohio, I didn't pre-order the Vision Line Hudson either. The J3A I had from a few years ago has a PT tender. Yeah, I mean, I'm partial to the J1Es. I think those are the best looking Hudson. But, if you have those J3 Hudson, J3E, J3As, whatever the heck they're called, from a few years ago from Lionel, especially with the water scoop effect, I can totally understand how you don't feel the need to buy a Vision Line Hudson. It's virtually the same engine for $200 more. It comes in a black box. Oh, and it has a swinging bell and 4-digit addressing. Sterling, Ravenhawk 6910. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Miss you, buddy. When will you get a water tower? Well, that's a great question. As I just stop the camera back. Just kidding. My water tower is actually upstairs underneath the Christmas tree. Anyways, I do own one. I had it on the old layout. There just really isn't anywhere good for me to place it on this layout. So right now it's just in storage, when it's that underneath the Christmas tree. But, yeah, I have one. Herman, thank you so much for the super chat. That really means a lot. And, help keeps the lights on here on the Long Island of Potomac. Thank you. The mountain, I guess being a perfectionist, there are a couple things I don't like the mountain. But for my first attempt at really building a mountain on my own and doing the rock sculpture, I think it came out pretty good. How did you make the sidewalks in your town look? Did you do something similar on my layout? So it's just... So it's these foam board sheets from Hobby Lobby. I got mine from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any craft store. They're like $2 a sheet. And all I do is paint them gray. Every inch or so, I cut a little slit for the creases in the sidewalk. Paint them gray, and then I weather them with a black weathering powder. Johnny from Audimus Trains actually has a really good video going step by step through the process on how he does it. Same method. I copied his method. So make sure to go check out his video if you want to see how I do my sidewalk, because that's how he did his. Penn Central, New York Central's tough. I'd probably say New York Central. Yes, Randy, I actually did find MTH Via Rail passenger cars on eBay for a somewhat reasonable price to run with my Via Rail F40. They're in my Via Rail F40 video, my Mr. Muffin's custom run, which I was the first person to receive one of those F40s. They're beat up, but for my purposes, they're just fine. I'm happy to have them. But nobody watched my Via Rail F40 video, so most people wouldn't know that I actually have those cars or that engine. How long do I plan to stay on? I don't know. My phone was at 100% when we started, so either for the next, probably 20 or 30 minutes, or until my phone dies, whatever comes first. Dashing Dan already owns everything Via Rail in existence, so he was actually the one who sent me the eBay link. Well, the Camelback died again. Definitely nothing to worry about there. There we go. Thank you, Scott, for liking the Via Rail video, where I both speak in a horrific Canadian accent and a horrific French accent. Got a lot of upset comments from the Great White North about my comments. Any predictions for the next catalog? F3s. Yeah, definitely the F3s I think are a very safe bet, and I'm sure they'll do some Postwar inspired paint schemes. I'm really hoping for like a Lion Chief 2.0 version of the girls train set. I'm sure the FM Train Masters are probably making a return. I'd love to see them do another run of NW2 switchers in the Postwar inspired paint schemes. I think if there's any tooling where Lionel made it in the Postwar years and there's a modern equivalent of it, there's a pretty good chance that we'll get it. Yeah, he was hilarious. He's like a hound dog. He just focuses in for something Via Rail or a purple box. And it was very funny to watch in person. He zipped through that train show in like 30 minutes. And then just left. He spent probably 2 hours to 3 hours in the car and 30 minutes of the show, but, you know, I give him props for being that dedicated. Frank Calabrese, thoughts on the Daylight Express? The Daylight is really cool. You know, it's just one of those things, like, it's really cool, but it's not cool enough for me to spend my money on. If I owned your own real-life railroad, what would it be called? I guess that kind of depends on where it is. I think a Miss Maple might be joining us here shortly. I heard her come down the stairs. But my little railroad here, I call the Long Island of Potomac, so Long Island of Potomac. Am I getting a Mets soda jersey? Well, Rob, I'd love to. I mean, considering he should be a Met for the next 15 years, I mean, putting it in 15 years perspective, I will be pushing 40 by the time he retires. And more than likely, my kid will also watch Juan Soto play for the New York Mets. So I feel like it's a safe bet that I can get a Soto jersey, but I don't like Nike, and Nike makes the Major League Baseball uniform, so that's probably the only reason why I won't get one. Hey, Mr. Mild Trains. Yeah, exciting stuff. I'm excited for you once you get that layout renovation completed and you're able to start your layout. See, guys, we said Via Rail too many times, and Dashing Dan pops out like his Bloody Mary. So, look what you did. Dashing Dan just suddenly appears. David, too bad you weren't in D.C. area last weekend and run some trains at College Park Aviation. The National Capital Trackers had set up. Got a lot of runtime Fridays. I took off work to play. That's awesome. Yeah, I got to see the National Capital Trackers layout a few times when I lived in D.C. It's a nice setup, and they do a lot for helping to promote the hobby to kids in the D.C. area. New York Central Railroad over the Western Pacific. My favorite steam locomotive? My favorite steam locomotive would be a Long Island Railroad G5. I think they're just awesome looking engines. If you're asking what my favorite model steam locomotive that I have in my collection is, it's the Long Island Railroad Camelback running on the top loop here. Oh, that's awesome, John. I lived in D.C. for 6 years. So I saw Soto from his rookie season in 2018 down in D.C. And I loved him from the beginning. I just hated the fact he played against my Mets. Now he plays for my Mets. Dan, you see that? Somebody's selling Via Rail. You want to get on that? I went to the Botanical Gardens once. God, it was probably 10 to 15 years ago at this point. Probably closer to 15. I'm getting old. And all I remember is that we went to see the trains, and I saw like one train. I was very disappointed. Long Island Railroad's better than New York Central. What transformer do you use? I have an MTH 100 watt power brick, and I have a Lionel 180 watt power brick. Yeah, I saw the trackers layout, I want to say in 2020 in Rockville at a church. But it would sit, actually. I personally hope that Blue Nami, answering your question, Reading Railroad fan, I have a couple Blue Nami locomotives. I really like them. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but I really like them. And I like what you're able to do with Blue Nami. On the one hand, I really don't like having to use my phone to control the trains, but to It's a reality we're all going to have to suck up with soon. But, like, I'm kind of at a point now where I'm even considering ripping Protosound 3 out of a couple engines to install Blunami on them. This way I'm actually able to get sounds that I like and be able to interoperate locomotives to different manufacturers. For example, I currently have 3 Amtrak P42 locomotives, a 4th one on the way. That's a long story. And then I have 2 of the Golden Gate Depot 3rd Rail ALC-42 Chargers. The ALC-42s from 3rd Rail come with TMCC with -9 sound, so nothing like the real ones. And I want to be able to lash them up with my MTH models. The only way to really do that is Blunami, or Protosound 3, which is a lot more expensive. What locomotive would you save from World War III? I have it. I got it a week ago, and I haven't done a video on it, so I'm not saying what it is yet, but it will be the next video out on RD's Trains, probably on Monday. Thank you, M-Rob. That really means a lot. So Mr. Miles Trains, you're referring to the Metro North Heritage units. I really like a lot of them. So I've actually seen the New York Central one in person. That one is my favorite. I would love to own a model of one. The problem are the cars. The Atlas Comet cars sold out before they even arrived. And now they're up for over $200 on the secondary market. So like in order to have like a nice train of 3 or 4 cars, I'm basically buying an engine, 2 engines worth of cars. And being on Long Island, like I like the Metro North, but Long Island Railroad's my thing. So it's one of those things like, maybe if the Atlas does another run of cars, I'd consider one, but I can live without them. My favorite chassis train, probably just any one of their GP30s. As you can imagine with my dog, I'm not a huge fan of cats. So the whole, chassis the cat, chassis logo doesn't have a lot of appeal to me. Although, Patrick's train's custom run N&W J-Class Northern painted up in the chassis colors, just chef's kiss, beautiful, perfect, 10 out of 10. Yeah, Mount Scout. I found some great deals on trades in antique stores, especially on post-war stuff. So yeah, that's a great deal that you're able to make out with that kind of a deal. Yeah, while we've got a lull in the chat, at my Squeaky Train Pass, I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in tonight. We'll probably go on for another 10 or 15 minutes. But, no better way to celebrate the holiday season than all coming together. And while it's kind of hard to do that in my, small basement setup, but, this is a way for all of us to virtually gather. It looks like we've got like about 70 people in the chat, so that really means a lot, that 70 people, at one time. I'm sure it got higher than that, coming out to, just hear me talk about trains, which isn't necessarily the most exciting thing. Did you hear the NPR story that came out when you went to Trainline to pick up your MTH and lineup interview? I was bummed your interview didn't make the cut. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed too. Also, there was a photographer with the guy doing the interviews, and I had to pose for like 10 minutes for pictures. And she said I looked great in some of those pictures, so if those never see the light of day, I'm going to be very upset. But yeah, that's actually 2 straight line-out train days I've gone to Train World and left with an MTH engine. So I guess that just shows where my loyalty lies. Will I be going to the next Edison show? Probably not. I went to the one, and it was cool, but I don't really feel the need to go back to. the Edison train show. It was nice. And it was really like the best part is like going around and people, you know, stopping me and saying hello. You know, I love your videos, RJ, or you know, it's just nice to meet you, RJ. But it's a heck of a drive. It's a little over an hour from where I live to the Edison train show, assuming no traffic. And yeah, it's just kind of a pain in the neck to get to. Yeah, they just released like the audio and the the audio and the transcript of it. No pictures. Maybe there's pictures coming. Who knows? Maybe it's for like a different story. But yeah, I was pretty bummed. But like, I kind of understand why I was cut. Like, I'm not disappointed after listening to it. The questions I was being asked weren't along the same lines as the article, like as the interview and as that news story went. Like, I was being more asked like about my collection and like how I got into trains, and like I think they took that audio news story from the podcast or whatever in a different direction. So I totally understand why I was included. And like they also interviewed Ben's Trains, who has 100,000 followers on Instagram, and you know, just lowly little me with 8,000 on YouTube and 2,500 on Instagram. So you know, it's the way the news works. You promote the guy with 100,000 people following him to get them to watch, you know, whatever you're doing, not the guy with 10,000. Thank you, Rob. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's what I can do in my tiny space, and Harper's Ferry, probably my favorite place in the world, so being able to recreate it here in my basement in New York is certainly nice. My favorite train show is the York train show, just because everybody's there. You know, a lot of the big stores are there, you know, as they're slowly dropping, but that's a whole different issue. But it's a time and place that like the entire O-Gauge world gets together for, you know, 3 days, twice a year. And it's rural Pennsylvania, so I really can't complain. My dream train. Well, I just bought my dream train, so I have to get back to you on that. I guess like right now it's the ALC 42 from... Right now it's the ALC 42, but it's supposedly being made by Third Rail. So, we'll see like if it actually gets made. Sorry, I was stopping the camelback because it's causing problems. Are you going to Allentown Spring Thaw? No, probably not. RMT or Menards? RMT seems like that it's like a step above Menards for less than a step above in price, so I only have one RMT car, so I can't really make a fair comparison, but from what I know about RMT, I would probably say RMT over Menards. So on my bottom loop, I have 054 curves. On my top loop, I have 072 curves. So I can run almost everything, but I have low clearance tunnels on my bottom loop, just so my top loop didn't look too cartoony being so high up. So it really limits what I can run on the bottom loop. Hey, Rail Chief, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I've got some cool holiday cars that I'm running around tonight. You know, what better way? I guess I should have worn this sooner. How am I liking the H7? I love the H7. If it wasn't for like the fact that I actually, you know, like I have the compulsive need to make YouTube videos, it would actually still be on the layout right now. I love that engine. It is a freaking beast. It sounds amazing. It looks amazing. I'm really glad I purchased that because it's not something that I, you know, would usually own, but, you know, and I probably will never own another articulated steam locomotive. Really glad I have that one. So, Lionel used to have a booth at York. They had one up until the first train show after the pandemic. They came back, and then after that, there was a dispute between the people who run the show and Lionel. Um, and it's better documented on the OGR forum. But the gist of it, from what I understand, do not take this as fact, is Lionel basically felt that they should have a reduced or free, that their space at the York Train Show should be provided to them at a reduced price or for free, because they're a draw for people to attend the show. And the people who run the show did not agree, so they stopped coming. The real answer is that Lionel wasn't attracting any new customers by going to the New York show, because you have to be a member of the Train Collectors Association to attend. So everybody already knows Lionel and what they're doing. So the money spent that they had going for York could be better spent attracting new customers at more generalized model train shows. Do I have any Conrail? I have a couple Conrail freight cars, but no Conrail locomotives. Yeah, I actually work with the old Lackawanna Railroad a lot for work. So I asked Santa this year for one of the RMT Lackawanna box cars. Yeah, I actually have a few Menards buildings. I can kind of show you real quick. So in the back, I have the Menards Arby's, which I made into a Chick-fil-A. Ironically, right next to the church. I didn't plan that. The Menards Taco Bell, the Menards Fire Station, and then on this side, I have the Menards Piggly Wiggly. I've got a Menards billboard. Yeah. So I've got the Menards water tower. So I've got quite a few Menards products and buildings. They're nice. They're just loud with the LEDs and the circuit boards and whatever. Will you ever get Conrail locomotives? I mean, never say never. They're just railroads that I like more than Conrail. So, yeah, never say never, but I'm not, looking to spend my money on a Conrail locomotive anytime soon. I should definitely lubricate that smoke unit. Yeah, I mean, John, thank you for, saying I was right. I mean, like, it's a loss not seeing the Lion out the train show, but they have every right not to come, because they're 100% right. They're not reaching any new market. I mean, a lot of people get bent out of shape on the OGR forum that Lionel's not coming, but, there's zero incentive for them to come. At the end of the day, how many people aren't buying Lionel trains because they aren't coming to the York train show? The people who aren't buying Lionel trains because they're not coming to York aren't already buying Lionel trains because they're made in China or whatever other reason. Yeah, those are great buildings. Yeah, there are plenty of other Menards buildings I would love to own one day. The problem is just space. I'm out of space to store things. I'm out of space to put things on the layout. So what are you going to do? Hey, Hudson Railroad. Thanks for tuning in. PRR-T1 or New York Central Dreyfus Hudson. If I were to buy, I'd prefer a T1, but painted up in the Penn Central, like a fantasy paint scheme. That would be cool. But overall, I'd rather a New York Central Dreyfus Hudson, but not one of the Lionel ones that look like it is painted white. Thanks for tuning in tonight, Frank. And thanks for all the comments on the channel. Yeah, T1 would be sick, but in all black and Penn Central. Yeah, you're funny, Rob. No, I think it's a problem for all the manufacturers. Prices are going up, and even with my Atlas stuff, I think the quality is going down over time. And that's just the world and economic state that we live in. But we're talking about model trains and not, economics. But I also have a degree in economics, so. Herman, thank you very much, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really means a lot. But David, they do that. They do show off those prototype models, but just not at the York Train Show. They were at Train Fest up in Milwaukee. They're going to be at the Amherst Train Show in Springfield, Massachusetts in January, which I plan on going to. They're at the World's Greatest Hobby on Tour showing off those prototype models. So people are still able to see them, just not at the York Train Show. Yeah, that TMCC, especially like the Rail Sounds 5 era, some really nice stuff out of Lionel. I have a JLC GG1 from that time span, and I love it. Where does the RFP Burke rank in my favorites? That's a great question, because that one probably lives on the layout the most of all my trains, because you can run almost anything behind it, any freight, that is. I would put that solidly in my... See, we're at a problem now where I have like 50 scale locomotives, and that doesn't include like semi-scale or trolleys or subways because I have an addiction. I would say most likely in the top 5, definitely in the top 7 or 8. Bill B, no worries. Thank you for making it. I know at the time zone it's a little earlier there, so. Amtrak or Metro? Amtrak by a country mile. I like. How many? I have I think 7 or 8 Amtrak locomotives at this point, and 4 more on pre-order. God, I have a problem. Hello, Chessie Railway Lines. Yeah, the Long Island Railroad, Camelback, RF&P Burke, Amtrak E8s. I don't know. Got a lot. Dennis, Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in. Do you do O-scale? Yes, I do O-scale. Would you ever run an Atlanta Braves boxcar if anyone gifted you one for your channel? Of course. I would gladly run an Atlanta Braves boxcar on my layout and directly off the end of the layout and onto the floor. I'm just joking. I would run it on my layout once as a thank you. No promises of it ever coming out of the box again underneath the layout. Yeah, I'm waiting for Atlas to do a couple of the CSX Heritage units. Of course, the RF&P one is of interest to me. I've seen the B&O one and the Conrail in person, but I've actually seen the B&O one leading an intermodal train across the bridge in Harper's Ferry. So I think that would be cool to recreate on my little O-scale layout. So I'm holding out for Atlas to do those, or MTH. Mountain Scout Rails, it doesn't matter how many boxcars you have. Bill B's Ozark Midland Southern Railways Boxcar Challenge. It's just a fun way for all of us to get together and run our trains and appreciate each other's videos. It's not showing off how many boxcars we have. I mean, in my video, I have quite a few boxcars, and that was even all of them. because I have a problem. We all have problems, as Matt's train said. But it's just a fun way for us to share each other's videos, and um, I know my YouTube feed, a lot of the videos are just Bill B's Boxcar Challenge, and it's fun seeing everybody's submissions. Van Rail, thanks for tuning in. It was great. It's great seeing you in the chat. Did you pre-order the Atlas GP38-2 and the Amtrak Phase 7? Of course I did. I also got it in 2-rail with the fixed pilot, so that'll be fun. And I got the Atlas O Amtrak Maintenance of Way cars to go with that GP38, which is fun. Your name is Reading Railroad Fan and you're in Altoona? That seems sacrilegious. Wow, over 100 videos for the Bill B's Boxcar Challenge. That is awesome. I'm glad I was able to be a small part of that. Al, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I've got the train shut down just because I was getting annoyed by hearing them run around without any sound. It's also the new Vision Line 700E J1E Hudson. Really cool. If money grew on trees, I'd order one, but it doesn't. And I'm happy for people who have been waiting for that re-release because it's been a long time coming. I think it was 2010, 2011 they first released those. So 14 years it's been since those were announced. So I'm glad Lionel's bringing that back out again. Thoughts on the new Legacy Berkshire? I don't have one. My friends who own the new Polar Express one or the new, other runs, they seem to really enjoy it. I'm fine with my one from just last run. Baltimore, see, you can tell I've been talking for an hour straight at this point. Baltimore and Ohio over the Chesapeake and Ohio. For Pete's sake, I have a layout dedicated to Harper's Ferry. How can I pick the C&O over the B&O? Man, I really thought we were going to get a Maple appearance tonight. I think my sister's busy making something or baking something upstairs. So, Maple, just a little wide. So, when there's food out and about, just a little preoccupied. William, I hope boxcars are legal. Cabooses are legal because I included cabooses with mine. Maple! Nope. Oh, Paradox. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't make it up there much these days. My grandparents used to own a summer house in Ticonderoga, and their neighbors are actually the owners of the Paradox Brewery. Well, fortunately, they sold the cabin a few years ago, and I haven't been back up there since. But I like that sign. It's a nice reminder of those fun summers up there. Alleghenies are cool. I've seen the one at the B&O Museum in Baltimore. That'd be a fun model to own, but it's probably gonna be $1,700 when all is said and done from Lionel. I don't know. After spending that much on the H7, there isn't. I don't know how many other locomotives out there will move the needle enough for me to spend that kind of money on a single locomotive. Yeah, dog bone scented. I mean, if they made a chicken scented smoke fluid, Maple would be all over that. That's awesome, Hudson Railroad. Yeah, I love my Legacy steamers. They're great operators, very easy to use out of the box. Definitely a lot easier than an MTH Premier steamer out of the box. But yeah, they're a great first step into the world of scale command trains. I feel like there was a story where like an EM1 was supposed to be preserved, and they marked it for preservation, and then it ended up getting scrapped accidentally. Maybe I'm imagining things. I'm sure there's somebody in the live chat here who knows the full story. Yeah, Cab One works great. You can also use the Lionel app. I used a Cab One for a while before I was able to find a reasonably priced legacy system. I hear Maple tippy tapping right above my head upstairs. Shame we can't get her down. That'd be a good way to end the stream, is with appearance from Miss Maple. So while we try to get Maple downstairs, I would love to hear your all's thoughts on the upcoming Lionel catalog, because we're less than a month. We're about a month away from the new Lionel catalog. So what items are you guys hoping to see in the next catalog? Maple! We're getting a Maple delivery. If you could save any steam engine in the past, what would it be? I would save the Long Island Railroad G5 from preservation. Maple, come here! Thank you. Oh, we've got two doggies. Come here. Hello. 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 The people want to see you. You guys can go with her. I know. Come here. Alright, there goes Maple. And there goes Cecilia. Alright, well, there was your Maple cameo. I mean, as you know on my channel, Maple needs to appear at least once on every single video. So I'm glad we were able to check off that Maple box. Yeah, she's my bestie. Her and I made a lot of trips out to Harper's Ferry, which is another reason why I wanted to add it to my humble little railroad here. And I apologize for just the pile of empty boxes that I still need to put away. Prize Hybrid B6. Yes, yeah, B6 is probably definitely in the works with the slope back tender. Great pick. I didn't even think about that, Reading Railroad fan. Great pick. I think the T1s were done in 2020. The Reading T1s. So it's not that long ago. In terms of Lionel steam. It's not like the Alleghenies that haven't been done since 2016. If you could be a train, what one would you be? Present day. I wouldn't want to be a train. I would want to be a person. Met PRR T1. Yeah, I think there's a more complicated story behind that. Also, very confusing how some of these trains have the same classifications. Or maybe I'm just a dope. Yeah, Maple and I did that hike many times to the top of Maryland Heights. The last time we went, I was actually going to collect dirt so I could use it on my mountain here. This way I could have like the actual dirt color from Harper's Ferry on my layout. But it poured that day, and we got caught 3 miles from the car on the hike in Harper's Ferry, and we were just in the drenched rain for hours. Maple looked like a black dog after that hike. We were both soaked and muddy. Oh, but I think she had fun. Could I imagine if NS and CSX merged? No, because then there would be a monopoly. Lineup catalog, RFMP, CSX Heritage. Second attempt at the brass hybrid K2. I mean, Lionel sunk all that money into the tooling. Maybe they can still recuperate some of those costs. I think what screwed them was Third Rail announced a brass K2 at like the same time, and it just killed all the pre-order momentum that those brass hybrid K2s had. They're cool locomotives. I just think they look too similar to a NWJ for most train people to really get all that excited. Now an NW M class, that would be interesting. One of the mollies. Well, Bill, thank you for your kind words, but if it wasn't for you, that mountain would be looking like that. So if it wasn't for you, I don't know where I'd be. So thank you very much, Bill. And you guys can also see why I always wear long sleeves in my videos, because noodle arms. But, I was told no self-deprecation humor at the beginning. Also, thanks for nobody telling me or pointing out that I put these on the wrong way, and it's holiday and holiday back to back. So thank you guys for not pointing that out the entire time, because the YouTube comment section loves to point out when I do something wrong, and that was pretty stupid. So you guys are slacking. What is the NW M class? The M class, the Mollies, those are it's Norfolk and Western 475 that's at the Strasburg Railroad. Any recent journeys to Trainland? My last journey to Trainland was for the Delaware and Hudson Alco PA on National Line L Train Day, where I got interviewed by NPR for like 10 minutes, and then they took my picture for like another 10 minutes, and then they used none of it in their article/story. Whatever. Never liked NPR anyways. And my next one should be to go pick up the F-19, which, cross my fingers, might be here before Christmas, but I doubt it. Hello, Jeremy Smith. We might be getting a visitor of the canine variety again. Oh, hello, Cecilia. The other dog. She doesn't usually come on camera. Although there have been demands from family members for her to make an appearance in the videos alongside Maple. Hi, Cecilia. Two holidays are better one. Yeah, that's a great point, Darren. Well, on the other side, it says, one of them says, well, they both say, like, Christmas on the other side, so you can alternate. So it says, like, Santa Claus Holiday Christmas Express, or I don't know what the correct order for them are. But I guess Santa Claus Holiday Express, I don't know, just doesn't have the right ring to it. And I apologize for the dog tapping around with her nails. The hardwood floors are perfect for ruining videos that I'm filming when the dogs want to come downstairs and get attention, and you just hear the tippy tap. We've had to redo many shots and videos because of the tippy taps. Who makes these holiday cards? These are made by MTH. So, they're good quality. Alright, so I've been going on for about 90 minutes now, and I gotta be up early tomorrow. So I think I'm going to shut it down here for the night, but I do just want to take a minute here to thank all of you guys for, over the years, especially this last year, it's been very good on YouTube, and me coming back and building this layout, for watching my videos and liking them and commenting and subscribing. All of your positive encouragement really gives me a lot of motivation, and it brings me even more joy to this hobby. So I just want to thank you guys that, if it wasn't for, you all, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I truly cannot thank you guys enough. So look out for probably one more video from me before Christmas, and hopefully another one before the new year. But because I won't say it in those videos because I don't want to mess up with somebody who's watching after Christmas or whatever. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope the new year brings everybody a happy and healthy new year. So with that, Cecilia is getting cranky, so even a more perfect time to shut everything down. So thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you all very much for tuning in tonight. And Happy Hanukkah.